Just give up, gotta crawl. Feels like too much, but back up again, back up again, back up again. Can't get scared to try. I get scared to fly, but the turbulence is better than getting left behind. I don't know what it looks like, what it feels like, what it is, but I know when I get there, when I find it, it's for me. I don't know what it looks like, what it feels like, what it is, but I know when I get there, when I find it, it's for me. It's gonna hurt to grow. It's gonna hurt.
Well, you know what time it is. We're back with another episode of Black Girl Magic Stories. This year's theme is Acts of Resistance.
Love it.
Yes. And in today's episode, we're talking about art as resistance.
All right.
That's good.
That is a good topic.
It is.
When we think about art in today's context, we often think of popular forms of entertainment, music, movies, the theater. While art is also the source of joy, it also is a powerful way to give platforms to those who are voiceless.
Absolutely. Art is an act of storytelling, whether it be through painting, writing, audio recording, or film. When we consume art, we are being invited into a stream of consciousness and choosing to participate in a shared narrative.
Yeah. And during the times of political unrest, artists are often amongst the first to be persecuted, leading to book and media bans, labeling individuals or movements as radicals or conspiracy theorists. You know the powerhouse voices of artists such as Nina Simone and Aretha Franklin, but did you know that both women were on U.S. government watch lists and they're out for their outspokenness on civil rights issues and participation in organizations meant to advance and improve the plight of Black Americans?
Right on, sisters.
Yep. And you are so right, Asia. There's also Billie Holiday's pivotal recording of the song Strange Fruit, which lyrically illustrated the violent lynchings of Black people, as well as Miriam Makeba, aka Mama Africa, who used her popular music to criticize apartheid in South Africa.
If we think about it, we can name a piece of art, poetry, song, or movie that changed the way we see the world. Art not only has the power to heal, but also set us free, much like Black culture. Art inspires movements, is influential, and has the power to spread a global message.
Yes. Wow. I don't know about you ladies, but I am certainly ready to talk about it.
Yeah.
So ladies, could you please share about your respective relationships with art? Asia?
Well, art has always been a part of my life. I've known, art has been a part of my life since probably the age of between 2 and 3. I really started becoming really aware of the power of art at 4. I'm gonna be honest. I've always wanted to be a singer. Like, I grew up singing. I grew up as a visual artist. I became an actress. I've always been into theater, music, dance. I grew up in a West African dance company, Conqueror West African Dance Company, since the age of 6. And I had stopped dancing roughly around, I want to say maybe 21, 22. And so I have a lot of experience in all performing arts and as well as visual arts as well. And I also have somewhat of a passion for photography. I have interest in photography and filmography and in directing and all of that stuff. So yeah, it's been a huge part of my life, and I've always been somebody that has, I've always gravitated towards music mainly because I am primarily a musician. I sing. I'm getting back into songwriting. I'm in the process of writing an album now. I also have a couple of projects under my belt as far as a short film by the name of Forever and a Day, as well as a play called Brown-Legged Woman. So it's about a burlesque dancer that finds love in her dressing room.
Oh, nice.
And so, yeah, that's just where I've been. Like, art has always been the drive for my existence a lot of the time. So yeah.
What about you, Nikki? Your relationship to art?
My relationship with art, again, starts from childhood. I think it's a kind of a celestial family thing, too, because I used to sit on my mother's lap, and she would also draw. And I would be drawing, watch my older sister draw, and my older brother draw, and it just kind of glued on to me. And then I remember there's a scene that always plays in my brain about where I'm sitting in the hallway and my siblings gather around me and they're teaching me how to color. Wow. So it was like a communal thing from the beginning, and I think that practice has stayed with me throughout my life. I think art is also, we can do it innately by ourselves, but I also believe in the power of community and sharing that art. I've been a teacher, but I'm also a curator. Ooh, surprise myself. And I've done a couple of projects. I love film. I love soundscape, so I'm very multidisciplinary. I tend to call MICA, that's where I got my MFA from, the Matrix. Because when I went in, I went in one way, and when I came out,
Totally different person.
Totally different person.
That's good.
And so I really owe that to the cohort of professors that honed in on me and helped me change my practice.
So good. What about you, Shanelle? What about you?
I was born with drama. Good drama, of course. My mother always, every year my birthday, she has it to be all, tell me the story of how it was so dramatic when I, entered into the world. But I knew the moment that my mom took me to the National Theater to see The Wiz with Stephanie Mills. That was it. Done. That was it. That was a defining moment. I knew somewhere, somehow, that was going to be me. But I always wanted to be Dorothy. I wanted to be the actress, the singer, the dancer. And although I did that growing up, God led me down a different path. So he led me to be a drama teacher, a director, writer, producer. I did a tad bit choreography, a little two-step here and there. But, I've been doing that for, 28 years.
Wow.
And I love it. I plan to continue to do it out of the classroom with my own company. I have my LLC, but I haven't quite, started up this company yet. But Say Hey Kids, it's coming up soon. And I don't know, like Nikki was saying earlier, giving a voice to the voiceless, that is so very important. And I give my voice through my students onto the stage, and they do wonderful performances.
Yeah, so I would like to add on to something. In addition to you being a theater instructor, I'm also a musical theater instructor as well as a vocal coach as well. And I have done workshops at different places, different small theater schools in the area. And I have done choral instruction, individual voice lessons. I just started my personal voice studio, Beyond Measures, and it will eventually branch off into my music conservatory and fine arts conservatory. So, and I would love to partner with my alma mater, Duke Ellington School of the Arts, and eventually be able to bridge those two together and give the communities other options and broaden the performing arts community within the city.
So as Black women, what's your experience and how do you feel you can be yourself in space?
And share art?
Share art. Okay.
One of my things that I researched in my practice was the inclusion of Black women overall in the arts. Out of the 300,000 masterpieces, I learned that Black women only make up 0.2% of the art world.
Wow.
Which encompasses only 1,500 pieces.
Wow.
That was in 2022. So I, in space, kind of put my foot down, especially when I was at MICA, because one of the things when I entered on campus is they're not going to hit me with this high art jargon, okay? Because my art, I make it for the people.
Yes.
And I had to come authentic to the space. And I think that's the way I have kind of hold to my truth as a maker, and I bring my ancestors on my back. And so to me, it has been difficult, especially in the gallery, white wall space. And I'm, learning that we as a people can find our own and create our own spaces, even when they don't want to give us space, and then take up space. So I'm a big advocate and proponent of making sure we have those spaces, but life ain't been no crystal stair.
No, it hasn't.
But the spaces have been quite difficult to get into, but I got to say I've been blessed. When you have those allies that believe in Black art and invest in Black art, because investment is a big thing. And I know commodification, I don't make it for the commodification, because I'm going to do this when I'm 100. That's my goal.
I like that.
And so, but investing in the Black arts is such a powerful thing that we need to be seen and shared with the.
And it's a way that we use our voice.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think a lot of our children, they don't, they think that it's always, we have to sing or we have to dance, but there's so many different ways that we can speak to the people, And I know going into, coming from an HBCU, my drama professor would always say, you got to talk, you got to open your mouth, you got to speak, you got to write, you got to give it. And so in my space, I demand to be heard.
Right.
Period. If you're gonna come see me, you're gonna see me.
Yeah.
So yeah. I feel that from your spirit too, Asia. When you're talking about all the wide range, the spectrum that you explore, like that's fearless. That spoke fearless to me, and putting your foot and being seen and making sure you're seen and heard.
Well, thank you, madam. I to piggyback on that, I will say that again, being in existence, taking up space. Nina Simone. Speaking of Nina Simone, she's known to have said, as an artist, we have the responsibility of taking up space and being a reflection of the times. And so, as an artist, as somebody that is that explores different parts of my artistry, I'm not afraid to be in it because I know this is what I was born to do.
Yeah.
And as me as a Black woman, growing up as a Black girl, becoming a Black woman, this space is very sacred. It's very sacred, and I make it a point, and I actually have random conversations with my friends very often about, especially when it comes to visual art and even performing art, but specifically visual art. When I have my own home, I will make it a point to put up nothing but Black and indigenous art, specifically made by my close friends, people that I went to high school with, people that I went to college with. I have so many talented, beautiful friends, with Black women who I grew up with, and they create such beautiful art that just, it reflects the world and it reflects themselves, and I see myself, even if it does not specifically fit in the frame of what my experience is, I still see myself because I am my sister, you know? So,
I love that.
To piggyback off of that question about inclusivity, all three of you are teaching the next generation. So how are you teaching the next generation to take up space, especially some of the female students? How do you encourage them to show up with their art and to break barriers? How's that been for you? Have you seen that? Have you noticed that?
Often, well, I have a high Esau population, mostly Spanish speaking, but I have my brothers and cousins from Africa, I will say that. And I just, when I'm teaching visual art and giving them all these visual artists, the artists that I like to particularly pick are artists that stick tight to their truth.
Gotcha. I like that.
and storytelling, because every one of those kids has a story.
Absolutely.
And I tell them that all the time. You have a story, and you also have a contribution to this world as well.
It's really good.
So it's very rewarding. I've been doing it for 22 years, so.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I know, well, I've done different plays with my students, and I enjoy watching them become characters and people from the past. So one of my favorite shows is the Motown show that I've written. That's good. And to see Motown come alive, and when they get the part of being the Temptations or the Four Tops or the Supremes, they just run with it. And you know, it's important for them to be able to tap into, you know, the very people who paved the way for us. You know, and music, when it was, not that it isn't now, but it spoke of a time period where, you know, we were struggling as a people and we were finally getting our voices to be heard. You know, so
substance.
Yes,
Carried substance.
Carried substance. You know, and they had to understand what the song was about in order to actually perform it. And as you said, being a storyteller, that is so very important, and the most important part of taking up space and us being who we are in our individual spaces, being able to creatively just tell our stories.
How do you, as an educator, because we're all educators, but one of the things I'm working on is sharing myself as an artist in practice with my students, because they often fuss at me like, when's your show? What are you doing? Like, you know, we want to see who you are. Normally when I'm teaching in front of class, I put my money where my mouth is, because like, ooh, Miss B. Like, but how do you share your practice with your students?
That's good.
I perform with them. So the type of director that if I can't just tell them what to do, I have to
Be with them.
I'm up there, I'm like, okay, Diana Ross was this type of way, you know? So I think when they see that, they're like, oh, okay, well, she can do it, I can do it, you know? So, you know, that's one way, you know, just become what you're teaching, you know, and they'll appreciate it more. Because they'll be like, oh, well, if you could do it. They, you know, they think I'm as old as they always ask me, you know, did you have lights when you were young? You know, so you know, but it's okay, and it's a laugh. We laugh and we have fun, but we're together.
Absolutely.
So it's not I'm over here and they're there, and I'm telling them what to do.
Top down. It's not top down.
Piggybacking off of what she said, I also agree. I am normally the type of educator that goes on the battlefield with my students. It's very important that they not only are being told what to do, but they are being guided, like take them by the hand, and then when it gets to a certain point, say, all right, now I gotta let you go. It's time to fly now. You know, it's almost like when a mama bird is training its babies to fly. It's the same thing. It's like, you know, it can get very intimidating, but once you do it, it's like, I'm free. You know? So there have been a few times, more than a few times, where I have found freedom in just being an example. And I have been able to see the fruits of my labor by allowing them to see what it is that I bring to the table, and they blossom right in front of me like a beautiful flower. It's amazing. I'll give an example. I taught a musical theater workshop at Joe's Movement Emporium, and it was a group of, I want to say, young adults, maybe between the ages of 18 to 21, and most of them loved music, but they weren't like considered as musicians. And some of them were very theatrical. They just didn't really have much, you know, structure. And before I can get into really teaching anything, I more so talked to them, and like I got their perspective on what it is that led them to the art, and like what is it that made them gravitate towards wanting to just discover. And that has been very beyond beneficial. And it's amazing to just watch the kids after me just like come up, and I'm not even too far, you know, away from them. I'm 26. So, you know, to be able to have a few years, you know, ahead of them, and then they're like, how old are you? And I'm like, honey, I'm just like 4 or 5 years older than you. I promise you, it's no big deal.
At least there were lights when you were born. Lights and no cars. Running water.
This is absolutely beautiful, ladies. Another question for you. How can art be a form of resistance, keeping in mind our theme for this year's season?
Ooh, I will say, I experimented with my students at the end of the school year.
Okay.
I've been learning about the NAP ministries.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Rest as a form of resistance, and I really loved her messaging. And I began to think about these Esau babies, because we had a student, and I wasn't there, but the student gave a testimony of his life crossing into America. Let's just say they said he put the whole room in tears because he also lost his mother. He watched it. And so in hearing that, I was like, there needs to be a space for rest as resistance. And I began to talk to the kids. I said, how many of y'all actually rest? You know, they looking at me, because this is like, what is it, 3rd grade? Oh, wow. This was, I said, I'm gonna experiment for these last 3 classes, 3rd grade, 2nd grade, 1st grade.
Wow.
And I think kindergarten. Wow. Yeah. And they talked about, you know, themselves. Well, you know, I go to bed really late, and then I asked them about their parents. You know, to try to draw that connection about why, you know, and they begin to think and reflect on, my mom really, she doesn't rest. And so I showed them, you know, a little snippet of the NAP ministry.
Okay.
And they're like, what, they just laying on the floor? I said, but what are they doing?
Right.
and look at the room,
Right.
and look what's in it, and they're resting. And so we tried it for 15 minutes. And some of the students like, you know what, I'm gonna tell my mom that she needs to take about 15 minutes. Now when you hear a baby saying, I'm gonna go home and tell my mom, because she got my little sister and my little this, raising this, to take about 15 minutes to refresh.
Right.
And then I thought, that's rest, that's resistance. That's what it looks like. And I'm not trying to speak too much, but it led me to this art piece that I recently showed at Neiman Marcus. The show was just this Sunday. It was called Embele, and it was sponsored by Black Art Today. Nice. Amazing, dynamic women. And there's a piece I did called Resistance in Bloom. And everyone that came to the piece, you see these two black girls looking like they're on a sunny beach, resting, flowers around them, butterflies, just to give you a visual. Nice. And then when they ask about the story, I said, have you ever heard of the Leesburg Stockade? Leesburg Stockade was all these little girls were protesting segregation in the South against this movie theater. And so the police were gathering them with no notification to their parents and locking them in this old Civil War stockade. And a photographer caught Wilm, and you can look it up, it's on YouTube, was very powerful. And some of the images, looking at these little girls, and it was all little girls. It was little girls, and it was more than 15. They like to say it was just 15. But at a ceremony, it was over. A lot of women showed up saying, I was locked in this building. And so there was an image that captivated me, because all the little girls, regardless of the situation, that hot tail room with the one toilet stool, were like smiling at the camera, looking like cheese, and I'm like, and then you see these two girls laying on the floor, one wearing sunglasses, and I said, look at this resistance and rest. It was beautiful imagery, tragic at the same time, and so that became one of my pieces that I recently displayed. So
that's big,
long way around, but
okay. Artist resistance takes many forms. What about you, Asia and Shanelle? When you think of art, how can art be a form of resistance? So how have we used art in the past? How have you used art to kind of illustrate a way of going against the status quo, of saying, no, I'm not going to do things this way?
So, I march to the drum of my own beat, right? Beat of my own drum. One of them, whichever one it is, that's what I do.
Either one works.
And I love to be told that I can't do something, because then I just have to go against the grain, and I have to do
resistance.
what and
where in art have you been told you got to do it this way, and you've said no, I'm going to do it a different way?
So I remember
this
show called Annie Get Your Gun in high school. And so I attended Eleanor Roosevelt, and at the time there weren't that many African Americans in the play. I remember being told, that, African Americans don't put a lot of money in the arts. That's why we don't get the lead roles. So I'll never forget that year I was given, quote unquote, I wasn't Annie, but I was Annie's little brother, little Jake. Yeah, a white male. And all this voluptuousness. But listen, I love it. I made it work.
Yes.
I made it. I mean, hey, you saw little Jake.
Yep.
But in this body, but I created it to whereas I was in that time period. I had to learn, how to be a male. I remember I had to learn how to do, what's the dancing called? the four steps.
Oh.
Box, square box.
The square, yeah,
Square
it's a square dancing, and I had to learn that as a male and all of that. And this is a story that I always tell my students, because my students are like, well, I can't do this and I can't do that. I'm like, if I play Little Jake,
Yes. You can do this.
you can play these roles, and that always kind of helps them to like not resist, but say, okay, I can do it, So.
Yeah, I know for me, it's very often that, I'll say one of the main things for me personally that I've practiced resistance was I grew up in a classical background, classical music background. And so going to Duke Ellington, I had the opportunity to sing and perform different genres of music. However, the main program was a classical music program. And so you absolutely had to learn specific techniques so that you can do everything else. It was a blessing in disguise. At first I was just like, absolutely not. Yeah. But by my sophomore year, I understood why this was, this is what it was. Now, going back to it being resistant, in this vessel, we're conditioned to follow a certain, path in order to become successful, specifically when it comes to being a classical musician. Now, I absolutely love opera. I love the classical world. However, okay? It can be disturbing and actually aggravating a lot of times when you walk into certain spaces, and if you don't present a certain way, then they automatically assume. Oh, she's not supposed to be here. Oh, he's not supposed to be here. Why? Like, how did you get here? I got here because of this. Yeah, that's why. And the beautiful thing in that is I've been able to take my classical techniques and put them in different classrooms and put them in different arenas or whatever, and be able to give people a glimpse of what it is to be traditional, but it does not have to be that way. And you can exist however you want to exist and not feel like you have to be put in a box in order to be understood, you know? And that goes to my point. Recently, I don't know if you all have heard of Audra McDonald's situation. And a lot of people are, they're like, oh my God, I love Audra McDonald, da, 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 da. Yes, love her. She's the reason why I fell in love with musical theater. And her playing Mama Rose, this is not the first time she's played a role that was meant for a white woman, but for her to be such a big role in the musical theater world, specifically her as Mama Rose, that is like the ultimate role for a woman in musical theater, period. And for her as a Black woman to tackle this thing, and some people, they don't understand. They're like, why is she doing this? This is not meant for her, this, that, and the third. I mean, I am very appreciative of all of the people, all of the women that have played Mama Rose, from the very first Mama Rose all the way up into Audra. But I'm gonna be honest, Audra has played Mama Rose completely different than any other person, any other actress that has played her. And some people say, she's doing it over the top, it's too much, da 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 da. Well, she's only expressing the fact that she's a Black woman in this time, saying, my daughter will not do this. She will not live like this. She's going to go out and she's going to do whatever it is that she needs to do in order to be successful. I don't have to sit home and be somebody's maid in order to be successful or in order to be accepted. That is not my portion. And so for Audra McDonald to play Mama Rose, that in itself is resistance against society. She's standing in her own thing, and like by the time she gets to everything's coming up roses, or Mama Rose's turn, she just explodes. And for some people, it may be too much, but that's the point.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is the point. It's not meant to be comfortable. It's not meant to be pretty. It's not meant to be this glamorous looking presented thing. It's ugly.
It is.
Yes.
It is literally a protest against all of the things that we as Black people, we as Black women have had to endure within this country and prior to us even getting here.
Yes.
So,
And we've had to hold so many of our stories back, so that when we're able to let our voices be heard, we do it in a way that only we can do it.
Yeah.
I noticed that, and I had never seen the play, so forgive me, but Wicked.
Wicked.
I was just thinking that. I was thinking
As you were talking,
Yes.
it was hard to sit in that theater and not feel like a Black woman. Like she is.
That's the
kicking
reason why.
all the notes, and I'm looking at
That's the
white
reason
folks
why they
like,
got her.
Are you
That's
just
why they got her.
appreciating
Yes.
this because
Yeah.
she's, what's her character name?
Elphaba.
Alphaba.
Yeah.
But I'm just like looking at her, and when she, looking at herself, the little girl falling down in the mirror, looking back at herself, that was a powerful part. But like, it was so many. It hit me on so many levels as a Black woman.
Yeah, and to your point, Cynthia Erivo playing Elphaba in Wicked, and she's not the only Black woman who has played Elphaba, but she is the only one that has played her on screen.
Yes.
Now, with her taking on this role, it's just. Again, it's a protest. It is a protest to our existence and to society, like saying that people are confused as to why we are making such a big deal out of Elphaba being a Black woman and having micro braids. That is a protest. Like, especially being in corporate America or any other place, we're told that our hair is is too much. Like we can't come in certain places that way, and like our skin is like, especially the darker you are, it's a problem. So it's like, she's a Black woman. However, the green and the micro braids are literally a protest against society saying, it's okay for me to exist
And be different.
and you actually exist because of me.
It was. I felt like the green was metaphoric.
Yes.
Because I was like, if you took it off, then Cynthia Erivo is Black.
Right.
Yeah. So.
But the green is, again, it's a symbol of what it means to just be different, to be queer, to be just to be different. Like to be able to step in a place and say, I am here. This is you can't take anything from me. It doesn't matter what obstacles you throw at me.
Or what I look like.
Or what I look like.
Or where
how
I came
present,
from.
my being. This is where I'm supposed to be. And if you don't like it, it is okay.
There's the door.
Because I'm not going anywhere.
I'm not going nowhere but up, boo. Okay.
There it is.
It only rises. It only
rises.
Yes. Tell me, you can start singing that. Exactly. We just want to play.
Okay.
So ladies, before we wrap today, what is a piece of art or an artist who has changed the way you see the world today?
Like asking me what my favorite color is. I
right.
don't have one.
Understood.
My wife will say I like a lot of blue and gray, but that's I'll change.
Yes.
Oh my God. I can't just name one.
Okay.
Fun fact though.
Yes.
Me and Amy Cheryl went to the same middle school.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yes, because she's from Columbus, Georgia.
Oh,
so when I was in the
wow.
6th grade, she
Yes.
probably was in the 8th grade. Going to 9th grade.
No way.
So I felt like I had to put that out.
Yes.
'Cause
Yes.
Amy is and a Micah alum. The grayscale. I actually visited her studio.
Yeah.
and her work is very powerful.
Wow.
And then I GTI'd, I'm talking about contemporary black women that I'm loving on.
Yes.
LaToya Hobbs, I GTI'd for her twice. But her work is like Elizabeth Catlett on steroids. Like to etch into boards on large scales about black women and see yourself is powerful.
That is big.
But if I had one artist that kind of like, when I was in undergrad at VCU, that I would go back and forth to the art gallery for at VM, the Virginia Fine Arts Museum. I know it's not conventional. Caravaggio.
Okay.
There's a piece that I can just sit and stare at, and I don't know if it's the theater of the piece, the intensity of the light and darkness of the piece, but it's like you can find so many stories in the work, and that kind of ignites me to give that thrill, that theater to the work.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
So, an artist or any famous person, maybe? Because the only person that just speaks volumes to me right now, maybe because I'm a black mother of 2 sons, Mamie Till. Maybe watching that movie, I forgot the director's name, but she just, it seems as though God sent Emmett through her to speak of the strength of a black mother. Because for her to do what she did, which was, I don't want to say theatrical, but in a sense, she said, I want the world to see. She began with photography. Because the Jet magazine, she called him out. She said, I want you. Come here. Take a picture. She posed with her fiance at that time in front of her son. I want you to see what they
did to my baby.
And when and her quote that kind of said, what happens to one black person happens to us all. It's no longer, that happened to them.
Exactly.
But it happens to us all. And it was just that and all that she endured, and and then she fought for it even after.
Absolutely.
That the strength of a black woman, she just
exudes it.
Exudes that for me.
It's beautiful.
Well, for me would be my namesake. Most of you don't know, but I'm named after Nina Simone.
Okay.
My mother named me Nina Monet.
Yes.
And Nina Simone is somebody that is, for me, the epitome of resistance.
That's good.
She went above and beyond what it means to not settle for less. She fought to the very end. To be seen, to be heard, to be understood. Her music, people normally go for, people know Nina Simone for like her protest music. But a huge part of her resistance is singing about love as a black woman. As a dark-skinned black woman, as a dark-skinned black woman from the South, as a dark-skinned black woman from the South who migrated to the North and traveled around the world, and who has dealt with mental health issues and fought through that. And even though a part of her downfall came from her mental health issues, she fought with love. She fought with expressing through music, and she was very vocal about making sure that people understood that black women need to be loved. She was very hard. She was very militant, very hard, and that's beautiful too. but like deep down inside, all she really wanted was to be loved, and she wanted to be heard, and I get that 100%.
Was she classically trained?
Yes. She went to Juilliard. She went to Juilliard, and later on, she actually got. They passed her. They weren't trying to let her go to Curtis Institute, but eventually later on, like maybe a year or two before she passed, they gave her an honorary doctorate, and that's unfortunate. Why do I have to get to the end of my life in order for you to see me?
be recognized?
You know, like she was way ahead of her time, way ahead of her time, and I truly believe that for me, she could go head to head with Quincy Jones and Bach and Beethoven, because that's what she played. She mixed jazz with traditional classical music. That's all she did. So
and she wasn't scared to not sing like pretty. You know what I mean? Pretty, like you have to look a certain, you have to be bedazzled, you have to have this kind of hair. She was unapologetically black. She stood her ground, and she stood in it, and I mean in it. Thank you, sister.
Mic drop. Mic drop. Well, that is all we have time for today. Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you, ladies, for our wonderful conversation today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please remember to check out livingyourtruth.org for community resources and information on how to get involved. And as always, remember to live in your truth.
Give up, gotta crawl. Feels like too much. Pick back up again, back up again, back up again. Can't get scared to try. I get scared to fly. But the turbulence is better than getting left behind. I don't know what it looks like, what it feels like, what it is, what I know. When I get there, when I find it, it's for me. I don't know what it looks like, what it feels like, what it is, what I know. When I get there, when I find it, it's for me. It's gonna hurt to grow. It's gonna hurt, I know.